Hello and welcome to Two Drink Maximum. I'm your host, Chase.
I'm your other host, Shane.
It is Halloween today, a very spooky day. So we're
Ooh.
gonna it's scary. Ghosts everywhere, ghosts abound. You're out there getting candy probably today, so we hope you're in a great costume. But today rather, we're talking to a wonderful creative human, a person in the horror sphere. We've joined tonight by writer, executive producer, and director Nyle Cavazos Garcia. So welcome, Nyle. Great to see you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much now for coming on the show. So, generally speaking, with the Halloween, it's trick or treat. It seems like we have elected treat this evening.
That's
and
right.
so, can you tell us what are we drinking this evening? This is a pretty potent looking blood red cocktail that we all have in our hands. So, can you tell us what we're drinking and why you picked the drink?
It's a very strong, very sweet bourbon drink. Um, I I didn't have my first drink until I was 21 on my 21st birthday, and I would just get vodka tonics because I didn't know what to order. And then when I relocated to New York on the plane, I had a Time Out New York magazine to kind of get me ready for my the new chapter in my life. And there was just like I guess flavor of the month kind of page, like visit this place, eat this at this restaurant, try
Yeah.
this drink. It was the Ward 8, and I was reading about it. I'm like, oh my god, this sounds crazy,
Mm.
because it originated in Philadelphia, in a prison during Prohibition.
Nice.
Mm.
So they turned the prison into like an underground speakeasy type bar for the rich, and the drink, like the
Sounds like a
house drink,
hipster's
was
paradise. I love it already.
Mhm.
yeah. The house drink was
Alcatraz on ice.
Alcatraz on ice.
There you
Nice.
go.
Um, the house drink was the Ward 8 because it was the eighth ward of the prison is where they had this bar. So my first night in New York, I ordered it, and nobody knew what the hell I was talking about. There wasn't one bartender in New York who knew how to make it, but I had memorized the ingredients. So once I kind of like, I feel like I introduced the drink to New York because I was going bar hopping almost every night. I was a pool player at the time, so any bar with a pool table, I would just spend hours there drinking Ward 8 after Ward 8. And I trained all the bartenders who were familiar with me on how to make this drink. And
Nice.
then I started seeing it like pop up on menus and stuff. So
Mm.
it might be a coincidence, but I feel like it's been my drink of choice since I started drinking.
We can
Um,
give you credit for it.
Yeah, we'll say you're a trendsetter. We'll give you the credit for it. Now, the real question I want to know is: were you hustling dudes like Color of Money, or were you
Yeah.
just like playing pool?
I was hustling. I love playing pool, but when I first moved to New York, I was a starving artist. I was volunteering on movie sets for a couple of years, and I would play pool for my rent. I would go to a pool place, a little hole in the wall bar called Cherry Tavern,
Mm.
on Sixth and A in the Lower East Side.
Shout out to Cherry
Um,
Tavern.
yeah, I think it's still there too. I would go there with, a dollar and put my quarters on the table and get on and stay on all night and play for $20 a game. Um,
Nice.
There you go.
make my rent in a weekend.
That's amazing, dude. My grandfather, when he was a boy growing up in the Great Depression, he and his brother were pool hustlers as well. So they kind of like help support themselves and their family through pool hustling. So there's a tradition to it. But well, cheers, man. Well, let's give this drink
Yeah.
a try. I've
Let's
never
try
had
it.
it, so let's give it a go here.
Eighth ward to the corner pocket.
Nice. You said that one. Ooh, I like that. It's a little reminiscent of a screwdriver,
Yeah.
but the blood orange in it gives it kind of like a twangy note. So, can you walk us through what's in the drink?
Yeah.
It depends on how you made it. The ingredients that I read called for two parts rye whiskey,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of bars in New York that I was going to didn't have rye whiskey. So at the time, I was like discovering bourbon, and I really loved Maker's Mark and Knob Creek and Booker's. So I swapped out rye whiskey for bourbon. So two parts of the alcohol, one part fresh squeezed lemon juice,
Mm-hmm.
and then one part orange juice. The ingredients that I learned called for blood orange, but again, a lot of bars didn't have that. So traditional orange juice works. Splash of grenadine, shake it, serve it on the rocks, garnish it with either an orange slice, orange wedge, or a cherry.
Okay.
Because also a lot of these bars didn't have orange slices. I actually I like the bourbon taste better than the rye whiskey. No, I think I just might.
I think it's good. It's very sweet.
It is, yeah, it's sweet. You have the splash of grenadine is really just for color, because if you put more than a couple of drops, it's a little sweet. But I promise you,
sure.
2 or 3 of those drinks, and you'll be taking a nap.
The drink is sweet enough too, dare I say, that you could do this for like brunch. You could do this as a breakfast drink as well. You know, just the OJ and the grenadine. It kind of feels like you could get away with this for brunch, but it is delicious, and I've never had this before. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. It's a little bit like a whiskey sour, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Whiskey sour adjacent is what I'd call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So as Chase mentioned, I mean, it is spooky season. We're recording this on Halloween here. And so since we have you, and since we have this great opportunity to talk about your film, the new film that you've directed, we also kind of wanted to have a little fun, little round robin and talk about maybe 2 or 3 of our favorite spooky season movies, right? They don't necessarily have to be horror films, but films that are kind of spooky and scary that you like to watch from this point of the year onwards. So it would be best to maybe we'll just go 3, 2, 1 for each of us. So Nyle, if you would do us the honors, what is kind of your number 3 favorite? Doesn't have to be the best of all time, but just your 3rd favorite movie to watch around Halloween or the spooky cold season.
I have kids, so we tend
it's going to factor into the choices.
family friendly movies at home, but every Halloween we have to watch Hocus Pocus.
Nice.
It's so cheesy and fantastic and dated, and every year it gets a little better. I just watched it with my sons 2 or 3 days ago. But yeah, it's a go-to every year. It's like tradition for us. So that's my number 3.
Nice. Very good. You know, it's funny. I have not seen that movie in a very long time. I think the last time I saw it, frankly, was in middle school or high school, but I do remember enjoying it back then. So this is a good reminder that I should probably maybe put that on the next time I'm looking for something spooky, but not too spooky, you know?
I can remember being a little kid and watching that scene where she sings that song and like enchants all the parents. And the kids show up and don't recognize that, like, they won't acknowledge their children. I don't know why that just like terrified the shit out of me when I was a little kid. So I'm like, abandonment, I guess, is the common fear going on there in that particular movie.
It has a cat character, and I didn't realize how much animatronic is used in that movie. I mean, the cat talks, and I think the mouth is animated in post, but they have an animatronic cat that's in almost every other scene. Which is really, really cool because you don't see that very much anymore.
No, because animatronics still hold up too. It's like when you watch, CG from like the mid 2000s, it doesn't really hold up much anymore. But when you watch animatronic stuff from the 90s, 80s, it still looks pretty good by and large, so it sticks out. So that's okay. Good choice.
Okay. So Shane, what's your number 3?
Well, for my number 3, first off, I would like to say for the record for our listeners and for Nyle as well, just so he's aware, I'm a giant weenie. I'm totally scared of horror films. I kind of actively try to avoid them, but occasionally there's a horror film that comes out that gets so big and it gets so much like press that I'm like, I have to bite the bullet and I have to watch it. And honestly, I got to tell you, so my number 3, I'm going to give a shout out to Weapons, the new movie that just came out this year. I watched it for the first time last week. I was really blown away by how well it was done, how well the screenplay was executed in that kind of playing with time scale that it does. The direction of the film, which I'm always kind of very much paying attention to, was sure but steady. It didn't feel like at any point Zach Krieger did not know where to place the camera. And it was just, the cinematography was great. The mood was great. I was really like A+ of a film. So I'm so glad that I found the stones to watch it. But I just really, really enjoyed that movie. So now, did you get a chance to see Weapons?
That's my favorite horror movie of the year.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. All right. So a man of good taste, good drinks and good movie taste.
I love that his inspirations when he was writing it were Paul Thomas Anderson films, Frank Darabont, very great storytellers instead of, like horror icons. He was looking
the
at
John Carpenters and the Wes Cravens. Yeah.
Yeah. And it feels like a Magnolia type of movie. You know, it's got a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson in it. He even the cop character in Weapons that's played by the actor that I will never remember his name, but
I think it's Alden Ehrenreich.
Han Solo.
Yeah, I'd say Han Solo is how we
Han
all know.
Solo.
Yeah. So that character is written as an homage to John C. Reilly's cop character in Magnolia.
Oh,
Nice. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. That's really cool. That's just another layer of like how good that movie was. I'm really glad that I watched it because I was really just blown away by how well that was done. It felt like a film that was truly like made by a singular artist, and I really liked it. So yeah, Weapons is great. If you listeners, if you haven't, this is getting released on Halloween 2025. It's on HBO and Max right now. Definitely check it out.
go see Weapons.
We're not sponsored by HBO Max, but if they'd like to get in contact, they're certainly more than welcome to do so.
We will welcome the weapons support.
Yeah.
So my number 3, which it's hilarious that I saw your mug there, Nyle. A Nightmare Before Christmas, which is one of my for sure haunted holiday films. I watched that pretty much multiple times throughout the end of the year because works for Halloween, works for Christmas. Great music, Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, claymation, like it's all over the map for everything that I enjoy. So that's definitely check that out.
It hits all the notes, you know.
Yeah, that was going to be my number 2. So now I'm going to have to change.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Well, Nyle, let me ask you a question. How old are your kids?
10 and 7.
10 and 7. So have they watched The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh yeah, we've seen it like 1,000 times.
And how does it hit like for kids that age?
Love it. They love it.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird for me because I saw it in the theater probably 20 times in 1993 when it came out. I have collectibles that you can't see, but I literally have like movies and toy collectibles all over the house. And I bought all of the original action figures that came out in 1993.
Oh, awesome.
And I have them unopened in a box, like the whole collection. And then it kind of like it went away because it was such an odd Disney movie, and then it came back strong. And now it's everywhere. But my kids love it.
I remember being a little kid and going to see it in theaters, and there were rows and rows of people that left because they were like disturbed, like, "What is this movie?" And I was just sitting like, "This is amazing."
See,
skeleton singing.
It's funny that you say that. I guarantee, because my memory of that movie was my mom took me to see it when I was a kid. And to be completely honest, I don't think the movie made that much of an impression on me when I saw it. But my mother was mortified because I don't think she really knew what it was. And I think she thought it was like way too terrifying for me. But the thing is, I really don't even remember seeing it. Now, seeing it again as an adult, I think I fell in love with the craftsmanship, the artistry of it. But I just remember my mom, like anytime that movie comes up, my mom always goes like, "Oh my God," like she rolls her eyes and she's like, "I can't believe that," that like, I think she was just more upset that she feels like it was marketed as a kid's movie and she didn't feel like it was, but I disagree. It is a kid's movie. Yeah, for sure.
It's about the spirit of Christmas and kindness and joy and all this wonderful stuff that if you get past the, decomposing guy inside a guitar case, you can enjoy the rest of the movie.
Fair enough.
Kidnapping Santa Claus and terrorizing children.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good. Well, I'll tell you what. I will take the next one. So I'll give Nyle just a chance to think about his number 2 real quick. But my number 2 is a movie that I think is well remembered for people our age, but I think kids of a younger generation might not be super familiar with it. But I absolutely adore the Francis Ford Coppola directed Bram Stoker's Dracula. That movie is it's so picturesque. It's so gorgeous. It just feels like it's all these like hand-built sets. It's gothic. It's just, the cinematography is great. The performances are great, minus maybe Keanu Reeves, but he's kind of a fun, weird offbeat note in that movie compared to everybody else.
Undefined British accent.
Yeah, for sure that he does, where you're just like, again, all you can see is Point Break at that point in his career, like when he's in the movie, but everybody else is just at the top of their game. And I love that movie. It's just such a gorgeous film. So if you have not seen the Francis Ford Coppola directed Bram Stoker's Dracula, definitely check that movie out. It's creepy. It's awesome. It's really, really well done.
Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves, Anthony Hopkins, Winona Ryder. It's got an amazing cast too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie's beautiful. Nosferatu came out recently, and I did not like it.
No,
not even a little bit.
Interesting. I'm not saying I disagree with you, but what didn't you like about the movie?
Everything. Every single thing. I thought it was self-righteous. I thought it was pretentious. The performances were so bad, and that fucking mustache that was
Dude,
the only thing that I could see for the second half of that movie. I was just staring. He looked like the Lorax.
yeah.
It was
he
just
did kind of look like the Lorax.
dumb. But then everybody that it came out and people were talking about how great it was, and I kept telling them, I'm like, that movie is garbage, but go watch Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's
Dracula instead. Yeah,
instead, because that movie is just beautiful and well done and well performed and scary, and
yeah.
and Nosferatu just wasn't.
It's so funny that you said that, though, dude, because honestly, like when you look at a painting or when you look at a picture, something you can kind of take in all at once, you have this visceral reaction to it, right? Where you either like it or you don't. And sometimes you can't quite explain it, but you just, I like this, I don't. That exactly happened to me when he showed up in Nosferatu with the mustache. Immediately, I just went, no, I don't like this. Like,
it was a choice. It was
not
very
the whole
much
movie,
a choice.
but it just, that mustache, just immediately my gut was like, no, do not like this at all. No, stop that.
I read so many articles about why, and the director was talking about how it was historically accurate based on like the class of this person during this time. And I'm like, no one gives a shit about that. It was so stupid that he's literally decaying. There's not one hair on his body, but he has this full on fucking.
But I must trim my mustache.
Yeah.
I want that scene. I want him taking clippers to the mustache and like, this is perfect.
Yeah, with a little, he's got like the mustache twirl, like with Snidely Whiplash. Like, yes, this is the best.
Yeah, he did look like Snidely Whiplash.
yeah. He looked like a dead Ron Jeremy, like an emaciated dead Ron. That's how weird that mustache looked. You know what I mean?
What did you think, Chase? Do you like Nosferatu?
The mustache was odd. What's her name? The
Lily Rose Depp.
Lily Rose Depp. She really fucking went for it in that movie, so that was good. She was super, super committed. I love the visuals. I love the style. I'm half with you on Robert Eggers, being really big on Robert Eggers. So it seems like he goes over the top and makes things a little overwrought, I guess. But it works. Like I like the Northman and I like all the stuff he's done, and I'm cool with him taking this sort of like grounded historical approach to horror is kind of what he seems to be doing. He wants to base things in reality as much as he can and sort of explore the supernatural inside what potentially inside the reality of what that actually would have felt like if you were encountering this person in that time and place.
Yeah.
So his grounded horror stuff, it's cool. But yeah, that mustache was a lot. It was like, evil Mario coming out of the darkness there.
Yeah, hard pass, yeah.
And the voice. I mean, I love what's his face, the actor that played Orlok.
Yeah, Skarsgård.
Yeah, he's like the Skarsgård family can do no wrong as far as performance goes. Like always committed, always great. But yeah, it was a little much. I couldn't see past the lip caterpillar that was going on.
That was my first Robert Eggers experience.
Yeah,
and I don't think that I would like hurry to watch another one of his movies.
Well, you're gonna get the Wolfman. I don't know what that's gonna look like, but he's gonna be very, very grounded and very real.
You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna take the hair off the wolf.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a story about rabies.
He overspent it on Nosferatu.
He's just gonna have he's just gonna have really hairy pits. That's the one thing that he's gonna have.
Well, I mean, what Nosferatu is really
with the big pubic.
Yeah, there you go, like a merkin.
It will be pseudosexual. It'll be all that good stuff. It'll be like the animalistic, but it's going to be because Nosferatu is really about the bubonic plague. Is like ultimately, if you look at the whole story, like he's the plague, embodied in a human form. So if he's just going to make a movie about rabies for the Wolfman and talk about how awful rabies is, okay, that's what it's going to look like.
All right, well, Nyle, what's your number two then? Your number two, like must-watch spooky season movie.
Well, I have a lot of favorites.
Okay. Favorites are fine too.
I can't like I said, I have kids, so I want to put on certain movies. Even just before this podcast, I was talking to my wife about, hey, why don't we watch the original Nightmare on Elm Street tomorrow? The guys,
there you go.
See it. They're really big into Stranger Things right now, and I was telling them that that guy's inspired by Freddy Krueger and Pinhead from Hellraiser and all these like 90s like movie monsters.
Yeah.
And she said, absolutely not. I'm like, oh, so close to being able to watch one of my favorite movies on Halloween.
Got a few more years on that.
So I think An American Werewolf in London would be my number two.
Nice, dude. That is a great film. And I think Kino Lorber or Arrow just put that out in 4K recently, and the transfer looks really, really nice.
Awesome.
But again, dude, like we were talking about, the 80s were different and they had all these practical effects, and that transformation sequence goes down as like an all-timer. Greatest special effect in a movie ever. You know what I mean? It's on the Mount Rushmore for sure. Not that the whole movie is just about that one scene, but it's the clip that you remember, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think Wolfman is what put it in my mind, because every time there's a werewolf movie, I compare it to American Werewolf in London,
Mm.
and there hasn't been a movie to even come close to that. At least for the makeup and like the awe factor,
Mhm.
the craftsmanship of it.
Yeah, for
I'd
sure.
put
I like
Dog Soldiers up there.
Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers is good.
It's actually really good.
Yeah.
And we saw Wolfman in the theater, which I actually really liked because it reminded me of, it was very Cronenberg-esque.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But still, American Werewolf it's a high standard.
Yeah, oh,
I
yeah, for
don't know
sure.
if people are ever gonna be able to make another movie like that.
I will say the movie, the script and everything didn't do it a ton of favors. But when I first moved out to LA, I was lucky enough to be on the set of the Benicio del Toro Wolfman movie,
It's a fun
and
story.
I saw. I'll just give the Spark Notes version, but I happened to, and this is a spoiler for the movie, so sorry for everybody who missed the 2010 Wolfman movie. But I saw Anthony Hopkins in head to basically ankle Wolfman get up, and in person, it was terrifying. Like the amount of effects, makeup, and like just how great the costume was. He looked legitimately terrifying. Again, the movie was a little cheesy, especially towards the end, but in person, oh my God, he looked amazing. And I got to shake his paw. He like stuck out his giant paw, and I shook his paw.
That was Rick Baker did the makeup.
He did indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did indeed. So that's why it looks so great. But I mean, that was it. Literally, I turned around and saw him, and I actually did like a jump take because I did not know he was going to be on the set, and I didn't know he was a werewolf either. And so he looked fantastic in person. So a good werewolf is timeless, I would say. But maybe the movie didn't do him any favors there.
I feel like they did some digital enhancement or something on that Wolfman.
Yeah. And the other thing that was crazy too is I literally was there watching him do a pickup. So he literally he was in front of a green screen, and you can see the final shot in the movie. He just turns around and goes, that was it. That's all they needed. And it was like, he must have been in the makeup for 4 hours
Oh, yeah.
for him to literally get up on an Apple box in front of a green screen and go about 7 times. And then Joe Johnson, who directed the movie, was like, all right, I think we got it. And that was it. That was the whole day. Like, okay. that was the whole, anyways, but yeah, dude, American Werewolf in London. Good choice, dude. That's a classic one to pull out. Chase, what about you?
Hot minute.
Yeah.
My number two, I'm going to deviate a little bit from horror films. Going to go with Batman Returns. It's a Christmas movie, essentially. Obviously, Nyle knows it. It's part of his company, the Hell Here Films. But yeah, it's Christmas themed. It's spooky. Always a fan of Tim Burton. It's 2 films from Tim Burton, apparently, from me. So that's my tried and true holiday film, and also Batman. So it's a pretty easy choice for me.
Yeah. What inspired you to name your production company after the "Hello There, Hell Here" thing, the neon light that Michelle
Selena
Pfeiffer has in
Kyle
her
sign,
apartment?
yeah.
I love Tim Burton, and I wanted it to be a wink to something cat themed that maybe only like true Tim Burton fans would get. But everybody gets it. I think it's pretty well known, more well known than I thought it was. I thought it was very clever, and I'm like, no, this is everywhere.
I was telling Chase before we started making the show that I used to have a neighbor who lived across the way from me that had the neon sign in their apartment, and it had the O and hello and the T in there flashed,
Amazing.
But it was like, yeah. So apparently that's a pretty clever. More people might know it than you think, but that's awesome though that you named your production company after that.
I want that neon sign. I'm gonna buy one.
There you go. I'm sure. I don't know if it's on Amazon or what, but I can tell you it's out there. I've seen it with my own eyes. There you go. Very
So
nice.
we've arrived at our number one haunted holiday films for everybody.
Chase, why don't you, since you went last twice, why don't you do the honors
Oh,
and give us
okay.
your number one?
So I'm gonna forever cheat a little bit. My number one is actually 2 films. I'm gonna go with a pairing of The Shining and Doctor Sleep, because at this point they're one story for me. Because Doctor Sleep wraps up the story that is expounded on in The Shining. both great movies. You got Stanley Kubrick, and I do not remember the director of Doctor Sleep, so my apologies.
Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan.
Yeah,
He did an amazing job of wrapping the story of the book and the previous film together and do a complete just telling of how Danny's life ends up. And it's just really good. The music's good, and it's all solid. Like I'll sit there for 5.5 hours and watch those two movies together.
Yeah. The other thing too, and Nyle, I'd be curious to get your take on this as well as an accomplished director yourself. That movie, Dr. Sleep, is one of the few films that I would truly say, if you did not watch the director's cut of the movie, which is significantly longer, it's like 30, 40 minutes longer. But if you did not watch the director's cut of that movie, you didn't see the movie. You did not see the right thing, because all of the meat on the bones gets cut right out of that movie. And so, I mean, Warner Brothers knew that the director's cut was better. They put out like a whole separate disc of the director's cut. The director's cut is available to stream on HBO Max. And as somebody who works in the industry and works with different versions of movies, director's cuts never get put on streaming services. So the fact that it did should be a sign that that's the version you need to watch.
Are you sure we're not sponsored by HBO Max?
I know. I'm really going for that sponsorship, dude. Zaslav, call me, baby. We can do this.
I haven't seen Dr. Sleep.
Oh, it's good.
It's excellent. It's very good.
I love The Shining. Kubrick is one of my favorite directors.
I'm in the same camp with you. I was very, very cautious about Dr. Sleep because I was like, oh, they're making essentially a sequel to The Shining. That's what it is. And it's very, 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 one more time, very good. He recaptures that same spirit and the looks, and they recreate the entirety of the Overlook Hotel, and it's fucking solid. So go see that movie if I can give a recommendation.
Mike Flanagan is really, really great.
Yes.
For, storytelling. His Netflix series are amazing. Every single one.
And I will say now, for what it's worth, to Chase's point, like the movie, I'm going to say the director's cut is like 3 hours long. The stuff in the Overlook Hotel is maybe the last 35, maybe 40 minutes. So it's not just a dead sprint to get to the Overlook and then just a greatest hits of redoing the Shining bits. It's 2.5 hours of character building, story, and getting to know these new characters in this world. And then the last act essentially takes place in the Overlook Hotel. So even though you do kind of get some of the greatest hits of The Shining, it's not like an awful ripoff where that's all you're watching for 2.5 hours. It's just, oh, look how great The Shining was. It's like by the time they get to the Overlook, it feels like they've earned it, Mm-hmm. So it's not just a cheap, money-making sequel type thing. I thought it was really well done. So that's a good pull, Chase. Very good pull. All right, well, I will give our distinguished guest the final say. But my number one, and it's my favorite horror movie of all time, and I can watch it anytime the weather starts to get a little bit chilly, because it's the movie that, to me, makes you feel cold when you watch it. But it is John Carpenter's The Thing. I love that movie so much. I love the Rob Bottin special effects. I think the acting is superb. The screenplay is superb. The directing is superb. And like I said, it's a movie that it doesn't matter if you watch it in the middle of July. You feel cold when you watch that movie. It's a movie that like makes you feel cold, but it's a classic. I love it. It just came out in 4K a couple years ago. Transfer looks really good and really clean. And it's just, that movie never grows old for me, dude. Do you like that movie now?
I love that movie.
Yeah. Boy. I knew he had good taste.
The poster of that movie also is great. It's one of my favorite movie posters.
Yeah. R.I.P. to the great Drew Struzan, who, as of this recording, passed away a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he I was trying to explain to my sons how he kind of illustrated my childhood. Every movie poster from like,
Indiana Jones to Star Wars really, to Back to the Future,
everything.
All of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, essentially all the 70s and 80s.
So moving on to now, what's your number one going to be?
I touched on it a little bit earlier. It's the original A Nightmare on Elm Street by Wes Craven. It's the reason why I make movies. I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies when I was a kid, but also when I was a kid, we had 8 channels. So if we were going to watch a horror movie, it would be in the theaters. But my mom surprised us with a VCR when I was 8, and my brother's girlfriend rented A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I wasn't allowed to even be in the room when they were watching it. And she left it at our house. Coming.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I could hear it from my bedroom, and I'm like, I got to see this movie. She left the VHS the rented VHS at our house, and I think they broke up or something because she didn't come back for it for 3 months. And every day after school, I would watch it before my mom got back from work, because she worked every day until about 5:30. Mm-hmm. So I would get home, watch Nightmare on Elm Street, rewind the tape, and put it back in the case, and then not tell anybody. So it was like my dirty little secret.
Nice.
And it made me want to make movies. It made me. I never felt all of those emotions all at once like I did when I watched that movie. Granted, I was only a kid, and it was like surreal.
Yeah.
That experience, I didn't understand that directing a movie was like, I didn't know what people did to make. I thought the actors made the movie. I didn't know. So I just knew that I want to do that. I want to make something like that, to create those feelings in another kid, along the way. It really inspired me in a way that nothing else ever did. So that is forever my favorite movie.
I mean, there's a lot of good things going on in that film. It's very surreal. Like you said, you're dealing with dreams. There's a lot of subtext going on in that. Freddy Krueger is a captivating terror throughout the entirety of the thing, and funny. Like, that's the people don't give Freddy credit for being the amazing comedian that he actually is throughout the entirety of that film.
Yeah, the whole series. His physical comedy, or his physical performance, is also really.
I think if you just changed the music in that film, you'd be laughing through the entire thing as opposed to being in terror.
My bedroom was covered in Freddy Krueger posters, and I had the basement as well.
Oh, that's terrifying. I don't know if I put up a poster.
Yeah.
I would write sequels to Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I would make myself a character in the story, because again, I thought the actors made the movie, so I'm like, if I'm going to make the movie, I got to be in the movie.
Yeah.
I had like so many short stories and drawings and stuff of Freddy Krueger from age 8 to like 12. It was an obsession.
Did you know when you were writing the sequels to them that they had already made a couple of sequels at that point, or no?
It was before.
Oh, was it? Okay, nice.
Yeah, I watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street the year it came out. I saw part 2 in the theater. I saw part 3 in the theater. I saw every part in the theater.
Nice.
Opening night. And the part 2, I had to trick my babysitter to take me to see it. Part 3, I tricked my mom to take me to see it, and then she said she'll never see another horror movie again with me.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was. It was the beginning of everything. For me.
Couple months ago, my wife and I were out running some errands, and on our way home, we stopped by our local watering hole to just get a beverage before we got back home. And we ended up striking up a conversation with this woman who had this really interesting career, and she was a child actor and all those things. And eventually, it was like, well, what have you done? Would we know anything? And she was like, well, I tap danced with Frank Sinatra back in the day, and this, that, whatever. And she was like, but a lot of people know me because I got killed by Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I was like, oh. So I went back home and I Googled her, and I texted my buddy who's a Nightmare on Elm Street obsessive. And her name is Penelope Spheres. She's the one who gets her head smashed into a TV. And he says the super famous line, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." Like, that was her. I was like, oh man, that was okay. Good to know somebody who got killed by Freddy Krueger. Kind of cool.
We have a couple of Nightmare on Elm Street alumni in Catnip.
We do. And we're gonna get to talking about the Catnip right now, but right now, all the emotions I'm feeling mean
the biggest nightmare.
The biggest nightmare. That is a much better segue than I was going for. Was that we're currently out of our first drink. So you have movie recommendations. We hope that listeners will listen to part 2, but also you can jump on and make your list for movies. And we're going to refill our drinks and be right back here for part 2. Thank you for tuning into the show today. We just wanted to take a moment over this break to tell everyone how fortunate we are to get to record at the Muse Rooms. There's a lot of places you can film a podcast, but this far and away is one of the best ones for us to come to and do it at.
That's right. We're very lucky that we have the opportunity to record our podcast at multiple locations, but we choose to record it here because we love the vibe here. Nancy, the owner, is great. The creative co-working space here really promotes a really great vibe that's professional, and yet it's creative and inclusive, and it's just a fun place to record. It's a fun place to meet. Our guests love coming here as well.
And a wonderful wonderful community. They do mixers. They do all kinds of stuff to get you involved and integrated into the creative community that comes to Muse Rooms. So check them out at themuserooms.com. That's MUSE for Muse.
So follow themuserooms.com for all the latest updates. If you want to reach out to Nancy and set up an appointment, please do so. And who knows, maybe we'll catch you there one day.
Maybe you'll be a guest with us at the Muse Rooms
Yeah,
someday.
that's right.
And now back to the show.
And we're back with 3 fresh refills, and we're ready to talk about some more exciting stuff. So, Nyle, as we alluded to before earlier, you are a director, and you have got a new movie coming out soonish that you are in post-production on that's really exciting. It's a new upcoming horror film called Catnip, which just right off the bat, super cool title because it's like it has an air of mystery to it, a little playfulness to it. But can you tell us a little bit about Catnip and how that project kind of came to be? What inspired you to make the movie, other than Nightmare on Elm Street, of course?
It's a Christmas horror comedy about killer cats.
Nice.
It's kind of my homage to, or my love letter to creature features from the 80s and 90s. Because besides A Nightmare on Elm Street, I was obsessed with anything horror during my childhood. I made friends with this teenage girl at my local video store, and she would let me pick a movie for free if I just helped like tidy up the video shop after school. So I would stop in there for about 30 minutes, and I was, like I said, I was obsessed, but I would go in and I would alphabetize the shelves. She caught me doing it once, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, these are all out of order." So I would alphabetize the shelves, and then she would give me like a movie poster or something like that. And I started to barter for free rentals, and I worked my way through the horror.
Worked your way up from posters to rentals. Nice, I like it.
Yeah, I started at A, and I went to Z, and then when I was done, I would go back to A, and I was just every day 1 or 2 horror movies, and I love creature features. I loved the campier the better, like Ghoulies and Critters, and Puppet Master, and Gremlins is the one that most people are familiar with, but there were a lot more than just Gremlins. And like
Full Moon Entertainment was pumping them out back in the day.
Yeah, they were. I mean, straight to video was like that was a real thing in the 80s, and there's some real gems in there. You saw a lot of directors kind of like learn their craft from low budget horror movies. Piranha is like Joe Dante's first movie.
James Cameron, right? Did Piranha 2.
He did the second one.
Piranha 2. And before that, I think he was an art director, because he worked on a few real schlocky sci-fi horror movies before Piranha 2, but in the production design art department. Anyway, so I wanted to make something like that. There hasn't ever really been a killer cat movie before. I mean, there are horror movies with cats in them, but not where the cats are the antagonists.
Right. Or they play a major part, right? Like everybody knows that Japanese movie House, but it has a cat on the poster, but that cat's a very small part of that movie.
Yeah, and I understand why now that I've made them.
and full disclosure, I had the good fortune of being a co-producer on this project, so this is a little bit of inside baseball where we're talking about this thing. And yes, fully on board with the don't ever work with cats.
So my idea early on was like, you know what, I want to make an all practical special effect, all live animal killer cat movie. Fuck it, I'm gonna write one, and we're gonna do it. We'll do like low budget. I got a producer on pretty early, who I don't know what this fucking guy was thinking. My budget originally was going to be about $650,000, is what I thought I needed, and he wanted to do it for half that. He's like, "Let's do it for $300,000 or less, because we can find the investors. We can shoot it in 2 weeks, and have it turned around real quick, and we'll just like shit one out." So that producer eventually left the project, and then I found a new producer who was a huge step up. This guy Kelly Price is a phenomenal independent producer, because he champions directors' visions. He's very supportive. He knew exactly what we were trying to pull off, and it just jumped on board. And once he was on, we were able to like cast bigger names. We got Chevy Chase, we got Bruce Dern, we got Joey Lauren Adams, and I added 1 week to the shooting schedule. So instead of 12 days, we shot it in 18. It actually turned out to be 20. And the all-in budget, we started with the 300,000 in mind, and it was almost exactly what I had originally anticipated. Under $1 million, and we got this thing in the can, and it's great. I mean, I've been editing for about a year. We are going to have to add in some CGI and some enhancements in VFX because the cats were just not.
The reality of working with animals is a lot more complicated than anybody can describe or explain. So that's just, it is what it is. And we had to make it work. But yeah, so it's really cool.
There was the first day with a cat, and I'm not joking, we were all sitting with the camera rolling, watching the animal trainer try to get the cat out of the fucking box, out of the crate, for like 90 minutes. We're just sitting there watching this cat like not want to come out of the crate. And I'm like, oh my God, my movie has like 50 cats. It's not like one killer cat. There's a whole bunch of cats.
Yeah.
So we had to pivot after the first couple of days. But
and I'm in the background aging 5 years for the 3 hours that we're waiting for this shit to happen.
It turned out great though. I'm very proud of it. We're very close to completion. I've locked I would turn my screen because I'm rendering on my other computer. I locked picture today.
Nice, congrats.
Hey,
the fourth picture lock.
Right.
Locked it on Halloween.
That's the editor's joke, is that every export is like ProRes 422 final final for real this time
Version
underscore
4.
V3. Yeah. Yeah.
The thing that we were talking about earlier when you said the director's cut of Mike Flanagan's Dr. Sleep, I don't know if you can see me, but I was kind of like rolling my eyes because it's so sad that you have to kind of look for a director's cut, especially in genre movies. You know, the Weapons worked so well because I feel like he was left alone. He got to tell his story, and he was taking crazy chances in the narrative structure of that. I mean, it's a genre movie that feels like it's not. You know, it's a very auteur, very ambitious, heavy on the storytelling, heavy on the character development. You know, it's funny. You're following different characters, so the perspective is changing. It was beautiful. I
think the term people like these days is elevated horror, whatever that means.
Yeah, it seems to be the buzzword. I feel like I can kind of trace it back to movies are longer these days, right? And I'm a guy who loves long movies, so there's nothing wrong with that. But I think ultimately what kind of happened was twofold. Number one, streaming services started making shows that had the budget of movies, right? Where some episodes of TV shows were costing upwards of $10-20 million an episode. And in addition to that, so I think, number one, you had guys like Scorsese and Fincher and Paul Thomas Anderson and all these guys going, wait a minute, all of these dudes are getting $20 million an episode to tell this 8-hour long, essentially, movie. I'm done with you telling me how long my movie can be. So a lot of these guys were kind of really authoritatively putting their foot down. And then secondarily, as people stopped going to movies as much as they used to, I think it was kind of the idea of studios saying a movie has to be 2 hours so that we can run it 5 times a day. That just doesn't really exist anymore. So if you want to make a movie that's like 2.5 hours. So I guess the point that I'm making is, to your point, I think a lot of movies now are the director's cuts because I think studios are a little bit more in tune with, well, who cares how many times it plays in a theater per day? So it's a good thing that you don't have to maybe work as hard to go find a, quote, director's cut of a movie anymore than you might have had to in the 80s or 90s.
I kind of feel it's the opposite. I feel like in the 70s, when all of these, like this huge wave of new directors came onto the scene, Scorsese and Spielberg and George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola and Brian De Palma, you know, they were kind of given freedom to tell their stories because people weren't going to the movies anymore. So there was really nothing to lose. And all of these like great directors came out of this decade with these beautiful, very personal films. And then, once movies became more popular, and I think Spielberg probably fucked it up for everybody with Jaws. Now it's like a popcorn movie. Then they started doing like test screenings, just to get the ending right. And they started kind of taking the director's vision away from the process.
Yeah.
So they can make studio movies, and they can make $1 million opening weekend or whatever.
It arrived us at whatever Marvel does, where it doesn't really matter who the director is. They have a format that they have to match because we have 5 movies we're linking inside your one movie.
Yeah, and then now the streaming platform that's the playing field for artists.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have like more time and freedom to be able to tell your story. A lot of directors even David Fincher has Netflix deals.
Mm-hmm.
Scorsese's got his last 3 movies have gone straight to streaming because they can be 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
In the cinema, it feels like they're still doing what you had said. They want to schedule as many movies per day as they can. So for genre movies, if it's longer than 90 minutes, then there's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's the thing, is the genre movies that are feeling that pressure to conform to certain run times,
Yeah, and Catnip is one of those. So this new edit, this has notes from my executive producers, from my sales agency, from the team. The only person who didn't give me notes on where to cut shit out is my producer. Kelly's like, dude, I believe it. I love it. The first cut of the movie was 2 hours long. He's like, this is amazing. Now it's 92 minutes long before credits.
Yeah. But you're secretly working on that director's cut. Don't lie.
My director's cut is.
I will be honest and say that my note was quicker. That was my note.
Yeah. Most people's notes is like, we got to get it down to 90 minutes. He's like, just trim some of the fat. But the fat it's where all the flavor exists.
Yes, of course.
Very apt analogy.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question for independent filmmakers who are out there, who are listening and who are inspired by the fact that you were able to get this movie off the ground and that it's kind of coming. Let me ask you a question. I mean, how does that process? I mean, obviously you hooked up with a producer who has some connections and that kind of got the ball rolling, but you've got some pretty cool names in this movie. Is it kind of true? I think a lot of people assume that once you kind of get one big name that it was kind of easier to get the others, or did it all kind of happen at the same time? Or what is that process like of getting quote unquote names in your movie in the cast?
I don't know. That's the real answer. I literally don't. There wasn't a strategy. It just happened for this movie. I'm turning 50 this year. I directed my first feature when I was 28, and Catnip is my second feature.
Nice. Taking the Terrence
And
Malick
it's not
path,
like
call it. Yeah.
Indie film is forever a long haul. If anybody wants to get into indie film,
absolutely, yeah. It's a life choice. You don't ever stop. And from my first feature, it's called Clean. It's available on Amazon Prime. To my second feature, Catnip, which hopefully is going to come out to theaters. There's 2 decades in there of me just working, writing scripts, directing shorts, hustling. I learned everything. I'm a DP, I'm an editor, I've done sound, I've done art direction on other people's movies. I'm always working on movies. And I've been trying to get a second feature off the ground since 2004. That's when I finished Clean. And I had a second feature ready. I had a third feature ready. I've written about 24 scripts. I've optioned almost all of them. At one point in 2008, I was a very successful unproduced screenwriter, meaning I had optioned 9 scripts in 3 years.
Wow.
I was writing script.
That's really heavy.
Yeah.
It sucked. It was awful.
It's a terrible space to exist in. I can agree there.
Oh my God. Nobody could understand, because I would explain to people, they're like, you're doing really great because you're optioned another script. And I said, it's like being an architect and I'm licensing blueprints to buildings I'm not making. And you just kind of you write it and then you hand it off and you hope, and then it sits there for 2 years, and you write another one and you hand it off and you hope, and it sits there for 2 years. And I can understand why people give up, because it's so heartbreaking. So for Catnip, it just happened. It was like fucking magic. I don't know. I wrote the script in about 3 weeks. I pitched the idea to a producer who he didn't know I hadn't written it. He asked, like, what scripts do you have? And this is one I was working on. So I pitched it to him. He said, oh, that's a great, send that one to me. I'm like, okay, well, just give me a couple of weeks because I'm still fine tuning it. I only had like 20 pages at the point when I had pitched it to him. Nice. So I just wrote the script, sent it to this guy. He sent it to someone at Paramount, and they passed. And then this other producer who wanted to do it on the cheap came on board. I don't know how he heard about it. Once he was on, then there was some momentum, in place. We were like making the movie, which I guess you really need. You have to just keep going, He helped with some connections to the first little bit of money that came in. And then once the new producer came on, he came on kind of in the 11th hour. It was about a year of like trying to raise money, trying to cast. Everybody wanted me to not everybody. This one producer wanted me to rename it. He wanted me to make it shorter. He wanted me to set it in LA so it's cheaper to film.
Sounds like a producer to me.
Yeah. And then
I don't know about that note to set it in LA to make it cheaper. That seems like not true from every production standpoint.
All of his connections and his cast connections were set in LA because it was originally going to shoot in New York. So I ended up relocating it to San Pedro based on this guy pushing me to shoot it in LA. But yeah, it was like a whole bunch of different things happening at once, and it just kind of came together. So there isn't like a formula. I can't tell you to do this or do that. It just happened.
But that's I mean, when you read behind the scenes stories of some of the greatest movies ever made, there is an element of alchemy to it, where there's just a bit of the potion is dumb luck and timing that it just kind of came together. So the fact that you don't have all the answers for how everything came together is indicative to me of it's going to be a good movie, because there is an alchemy to movie making that is hard to put your finger on. Sometimes the timing just works out and poof, everything comes together and you get a classic movie.
Yeah, that is definitely true. It's a lot of dumb luck. It's also, you're right, it's a lot of timing. You never know what people are excited to will get excited about. We had a lot of really great materials early on. We had a pitch deck, and a Killer Cat Christmas movie was just appealing to a lot of people. And it wasn't even set during Christmas when I first wrote it. It was set on New Year's Eve.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, it was New Year's Eve in New York City. And then it became a Christmas movie in San Pedro.
Let me guess, you were hanging out, you were having a cocktail with Shane Black, and you pitched him, and he was like, "Have you ever thought about setting a movie at Christmas? I do that all the time." It's like, "Yes, we are aware, Shane Black. You should do that. Set it at Christmas. It'll make it better."
Well, the producer that was on early, it was one of his. He's like, "Why don't you just make it Christmas time?" And I told him that a huge inspiration for Catnip is Gremlins, and I didn't want to rip off Gremlins. I didn't want to set it during Christmas or have it be kind of anything that was too close to that. But Gremlins was a long time ago, so we started calling it Gremlins for grown-ups. It's a rated R, campy, semi-gory killer cat movie. Christmas works. I actually like it. I like it. Everything happens for a reason, and the fact that it's a Christmas movie in San Pedro makes it a better.
Nice.
I mean, I think so. I agree. That's why I decided to help work on it. But if you could you expound on some of we're very, very fortunate to get an incredible cast for this project. So can you tell us who's in this thing?
Yes. The first person that I cast was Brooke Bundy. She's from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And then the second person I cast is Tiffany Helm, who's Brooke's daughter, who's from Friday the 13th, Part 5. They were on from the very beginning, before we even had any money raised. Mother and daughter working together for the first time ever from two different horror franchises that I adore. And then our first star, I guess, was Jeffrey Arend.
They're all stars. They're all stars.
Yeah, they actually cast is really, really good, really great. But Jeffrey was our next name. He's from Devil and a bunch of TV shows. He's from Super Troopers. Most people know him from that. He's one of my favorite people. His working with him on this movie was so much fun. And then Kelly Price came on board, my producer, because we had some ideas for the rest of our name cast, but they were nowhere near the caliber that he was suggesting. We got Chevy Chase next, and that was just a random conversation. We just had like an age group, type of actor that we were looking for, and I mentioned the name. I mentioned a bunch of names, but Chevy Chase was one of them. And he stopped me. He's like, "Oh, I know Chevy's agent. Like, we can check his availability." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, why not?" We just figured he would say no or tell us to go fuck ourselves or something. I don't know. And he was the easiest person to get on the movie. We had a script in his hands within a couple of days, and I think a week later we cast him.
Nice.
That was the big push. Once we had Chevy Chase, we were able to get the rest of the cast and the rest of the money, because we only had half our budget at that point. So
we were running into the cold dark night, just hoping it worked.
We had a start date, and we were going to shoot the movie one way or the other. So yeah, it worked out. We were able to get full financing. We rounded out our cast with, we have Oscar and Golden Globe nominated actors in a campy killer cat movie. Everybody did great. It was so much fun making this thing. It's going to be fun to see it in a theater.
It's cool though that it sounds like you had such a vision for this that you didn't let all the names in the movie kind of throw you off your game. That you were like, I know what I want. I know what I'm doing here. I've got firm control of the ship.
When you first meet Chevy Chase or Bruce Dern, you're kind of beside yourself, because there's a lot of history there. I mean, I grew up with both of those actors. I love The Burbs, is one of my favorite movies. And then you start working and you just forget. You just, now you're working together trying to make your day. And our days were crazy. So there wasn't a lot of time to, take selfies or get autographs. You kind of just work next to each other and do your best work under the circumstances, and then, do it again tomorrow.
That was very much the motto. Just tomorrow, make it to tomorrow, and then we'll worry about the next day and the next day and the next day.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, in the long history of horror filmmaking and independent filmmaking, is there anything that you took away that was really surprising to you when you started directing this project? Something you learned or something you weren't ready for as far as being an independent filmmaker goes?
Yes, I will never shoot another movie in LA. I actually, that was what I took away from my first movie that was also shot in LA. When I made Clean, I moved from New York to LA to make Clean, my first feature. And after we wrapped that, I'm like, I'm never going to make a movie in LA again. There's so much red tape and bureaucracy and bullshit. People have a certain kind of mentality on an LA film set that's different from anywhere else I've made movies. There isn't an independent-minded person, an independent film-minded person in Los Angeles. I don't believe there is. Everybody's by the book.
Right.
People are very union, money-driven. People are clocking every minute. People are looking around just to make sure everything's right. It's very daunting for an independent filmmaker to make a movie in LA, because LA doesn't need us. They're making studio movies every day with fucking multi-million-dollar.
Well, for Los Angeles, a low budget indie film is a $3 million film. So it's really tough to come anywhere near that underneath that budget and try and present it's really hard, because the city knows the game. The city knows this is a Hollywood city. So it's very much a challenge to find any kind of wiggle room for most people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the price tag is the price tag. You can't, there's no negotiating or bartering. It's hard.
I have never shot a movie in LA, but I would imagine it's kind of an uphill battle, like you said, because anywhere else you go in the world, and I mean anywhere else in the world, there's still a magic to making movies where it's like the community is like, they're making a movie here, like with stars and with famous people, they're making a movie. And there's like a little bit of community goodwill that can kind of push a project over the hump or kind of get something done. In LA, there's none of that. It's like, yeah, this is what we do here. We make movies every day, every day of the week. Who cares if you're famous or not? The cost is this, the permit is this, and that's period. We're done. If you don't have it, you can't make it, you know?
Yeah. And I come from an independent mentality. I learned how to make movies in New York. That's where I moved after university, and I just learned on independent film sets. You know, and there are certain cities that have like a film community where you can lean on people to help you finish your movie. You know, people are excited to do it. New York is one of those. I heard Dallas and Austin are like that. I don't know. I live in Texas now. I haven't made a movie here yet, but I'm excited to do it. And LA is a business. It's like, that's it. There's no, I mean, Chase, and I'm going to say this because, you know, Chase is nodding his head because he knows, because he was dealing with most of that bureaucracy just so I could direct. I mean, if it wasn't for Chase, I'd be all gray right now. It was like,
I took all the gray hairs. You can't see them here, but I took them all.
But yeah, Chase really is a very wise, a very savvy producer within the system. He knows what it is, and he knows how to maneuver within it. I'm the opposite. I see the system as obstacles that I have to like overcome just so I can make my movie.
That's why it worked out. I could take all the heat while you were making a fucking movie.
Yeah. You know, and sometimes you have to, like, you know, kind of turn the other way and just let it happen.
No comment.
That's the independent filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like, just get the shot. What do we have to do to get the shot? But you ask that question in LA, and everybody has like the parameters that you have to stay within.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't have money to throw at a problem, then the problem doesn't go away.
Right, exactly. Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, for anybody who's listening who is certainly going to be inspired by the fact that you're an independent filmmaker, you're out there, you're working, and you got a film made, which is, you know, let's be honest, it is a Herculean effort to get a movie made anymore. What piece of advice, and Chase, same question for you too, because it seems like you guys were a great tag team making this movie.
Oh man.
What was the piece of advice that you would give to aspiring independent filmmakers, whether they want to direct, whether they want to produce? What did you learn from making Catnip that you would share to people who are listening who go, I love horror movies too. I want to make an independent horror movie.
My advice to any filmmaker is, and this I've learned this over the last 3 decades. You can't do it by yourself.
Sure.
You have to have a team that believes in the work, or that believes in the story that you're trying to tell. You know, and when you're young and ambitious, you think that you need to do it all yourself. At least that's the way I thought, you know. As a filmmaker, I wanted to know how to do everything just in case I had to do it. You know, if I have to hold a boom or push a dolly or, you know, whatever, I can at least do that. But if you have the right team, then you can focus more I could focus more on my job. You know, my job is directing the movie. Without the team, especially on Catnip, I don't think we would have been able to pull it off. We had about 6 co-producers, and everybody was wearing 10 hats.
Yes.
You know, and without that team, this movie would be half done at best.
It was. We really did have an incredible team that all came together and did a whole lot of work across a lot of different departments that people weren't necessarily assigned to. But anytime we needed it, somebody stepped up, and it really was incredible to see our little production come together and force this thing forward, essentially. I guess my only advice from a producer standpoint is choose your battles. You only have like 12 hours a day you can be awake without killing yourself to make things happen. So So you got to prioritize. That was the number one thing that I was always trying to do, like things that could stop the production or keep us from moving forward, or really could just like kill all our days. Those are the most important things that I was trying to handle, and everything else would sort of not figure itself out, but like that was something that I knew I had more time to deal with. I know I wanted, like, every moment was trying to get the best possible thing we could get on film, into that little hard drive that Nyle has been cutting away for a year and a half now. But that's my advice. Choose your battles. If you're a producer, like, not everything has to be a fight. Some things are more important, some things are less important. Everybody thinks they're the most important thing going on inside that space. So you have to figure out how to manage that and just continue moving forward and getting things shot. That was my only goal.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, both sound like particularly tough problems, but it doesn't sound like anything that a nice stiff Ward 8 at the end of the day could at least help fix a little bit, right?
and you know what? And at the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah.
People are going to see the movie, and
the only people that will know or remember are us. So
yeah. The what's the saying? You don't. What's about how sausage is made, or
you don't want to know how the sausage is made,
or what's in a hot dog, or
no one cares how it's. There's just how good does it taste, right? Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you know, that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to make the best movie that we could, and when it finally comes out, we all know how hard. Sometimes it felt impossible, but if it's good,
did it.
Well, speaking as the only person from the outside of the production in this conversation, I can say that I'm very excited to see Catnip, and I cannot wait till it comes out. So, where can people kind of keep up with you, Nyle, to keep up with the movie and to keep up with the next things that you're doing?
You can go to the website for Catnip is. I need to update it, but it's catnipthemovie.com. The Instagram is also Catnip the Movie. I believe the Facebook is also Catnip the Movie.
Yeah.
My company is Small Town Pictures, so you can find me on social media under that tag, Small Town Pictures. The movie comes out next year. We're aiming for. I don't want to speak too soon, but I know that. We've had discussions to try to release it theatrically for Halloween, then to streaming for Christmas 2026.
It'll be awesome. I'll go see it.
Yeah. I'll go see
I'm
it.
the only person. I'll go see it.
I'll go see it too. I will make this promise. I will get over my horror-weenie tendencies, and I will go see this movie in theaters with the both of you, hopefully.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
That would be fun.
Thank you so much, Nyle, for joining us today. If you want to keep up with us, you can follow us at TwoDrinkMaximum on Instagram. That's TWODRINKMAXIMUM. I have that memorized now, which is great.
Yeah, you got a lockdown, dude. It's not even usually in episodes of the show when he starts spelling it, it's like a teetering thing of will he fall off by the end, but he's got it now, so we're fine.
I get tripped up when the X shows up. But you can also find us on YouTube at TwoDrinkMax. That's the number 2 DRINKMAX. Also, a huge thank you to our sponsor, the Muse Rooms, your number one place for co-working space. Oh, that rhymes. I like that. But you can check out the Muse Rooms at the Muse Rooms. That's MUSE for Muse. So check them out. Book your time there.
Huge thanks to our future sponsor, HBO Max. Zaz, give me a call. Yeah. Call me.
Once that merger goes through, we're going to get HBO Max on board first.
Call me, baby. We can do this.
But thank you so much for joining us, Nyle. It was an incredible chat with you. And I'm excited about Catnip.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Niles. We're very excited for Catnip, and we promise we will keep everybody posted on our socials about when the movie's coming out. So please keep tuned, and we will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.